Right, here we go.
Panchiko. For some of you, you already know what I'm talking about and know the actual masterpiece their entire discography is. For others, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, and probably think I just butchered the Japanese gambling game. But no, this band is probably one of the most mysterious bands to ever exist on the internet. If you look on streaming platforms, it says their album Deathmetal was released in 2000. No, this is not a mistake on streaming platforms, but the fact that the band didn't gain popularity until just this decade. So why did they go unnoticed for so long? How were they found? This will be all covered in this video. The Mysterious Story of Panchiko. Alright, before we continue here, I have to say, their past is very, short, I guess? There isn't any crazy background story the band met each other in the back of an Aerosmith concert. They're like, hey man, you like the band? And the other guy's like, yeah, of course, why would I be here if I didn't, stupid? And then they kissed. Oh, okay, sorry, serious. Fuck, okay. Roll it. Panchiko was formed in 1997 in Nottingham, England by 4 childhood friends. Owain, who sang vocals and played guitar, Andy, who did engineering and played guitar, Sean, who played bass and did programming, and John, who played the drums. Not much is known about their past, but this is what we have from interviews and the band's statements. The band got their name from trying to remember the name of what the Japanese gambling game was called, but was accidentally misspelled and just stuck. The band started off by playing cover songs at small pubs that were more lenient with their licensing laws. They also played at small Battle of the Band gigs, where one of these shows in a pub called Berlin's, they were kicked out for being too young. At least, that's what the band believes. But when the band wasn't playing shows, they'd sit around the television, watching comedy shows and writing songs. At this time, Sean was studying classical guitar and says he'd meet Andy and Owain on the weekends, to only discover the songs were already written and he just had to add a bass part. The band has stated that bands such as Super Furry Animals, Ultrasound, Radiohead, The Beatles, Kid Loco, and Nirvana are some of their major influences. Between the years of 1999 and 2000, their first EP entitled Deathmetal was recorded. The EP consists of the songs Deathmetal, Stabilizers for Big Boys, Laputa, and The Eyes of Ibad. The song Deathmetal, by far the most popular release by the band, samples the Sega Saturn CD warning from the game Burning Rangers. Only the "don't play the track" part can be heard in the normal song.
Please don't play the track with a regular CD player. It might damage your audio system.
The second song on the EP, Stabilizers for Big Boys, is about growing up and coming of age. The song shows 2 sides of puberty, the first being a more sensitive and vulnerable side, with the other being a more sexually frustrated side. This perfectly encapsulates how teenagers act during this part of life. Both sides can easily be heard in the outro of the song. Owain has even credited the lyrics to Stabilizers for Big Boys to the song Thing Thing by Ultrasound. You can hear the similarity in the lyrics. And the third song on the EP, Laputa, is a reference to the movie Castle in the Sky, a 1986 film directed by Hayao Miyazaki, which is also the first film produced by Studio Ghibli, which also they have made the movies My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away.
Looks like a body. Well, the way you fell from the sky, I thought that maybe you were an angel or something.
What?
Yeah, I had to catch you. It's Laputa, a floating island.
An island that floats in the sky?
Yep.
The fourth and final song on the EP, The Eyes of Ibad, is a reference to the science fiction book series Dune. In the series, there is a drug called Spice, which gives people heightened awareness, greater vitality, and a longer lifespan. It is highly addictive, and the people who are addicted have their eyes turn blue, which are called the Eyes of Ibad. It is also the cornerstone of a birth of a new religion within the story. Around 30 to 40 copies of the EP were sent to the journalists and record labels, but the band never got a response for any, except for a label titled Fierce Panda. The label ended up not signing the band, but Owain has stated he still talks to the guy who runs the label. Later, after the release of Deathmetal, the band recorded their second EP entitled Kicking Cars. Owain recalls getting a little Yamaha sampler and a Korg MS-2000. He says this resulted in the change of the sound for the band. The EP consisted of the songs Cut, Sodium Chloride, and the title track Kicking Cars. Cut samples the Song of the Seashell by James Galloway, with the sample playing throughout the song. The second song on the EP, Sodium Chloride, kinda doesn't have anything interesting about it. It's good though, you should go listen to it if you haven't. And the final song, Kicking Cars, also doesn't have anything interesting about it. I'm sorry. And anyways, after the recording of the EP, the band kind of laid low. They wanted to tour to London, but they didn't have the means at the time, and also no A&R team would come to see some little band in Nottingham. Owain says they got a few reviews, which were mostly critical. One even said they should sack the singer. Shortly after this, the band went their separate ways and dissolved, for at least what they thought would have happened. In 2016, an anonymous user on 4chan's music board posted their finding of an extremely rotted version of Panchiko's first EP, Deathmetal. Hey, I picked this up because it looked interesting. I wasn't able to find any references to it online whatsoever. Even with super obscure bands, you might expect to find an old MySpace page or mention in some forum. Does anybody recognize the album? I've expected to be noise pop or some vaporwave wankery. Listening to it now, track 1 is like hella lo-fi shoegaze with noise panning back and forth. This isn't some viral marketing bullshit. I'm just curious if anyone can shed some light on it, and I'm slightly excited by the prospect of owning a rare album. The album mostly went under the radar until 2017 when a user, no matter how hard I searched, I could not find the original upload, on YouTube posted the full bitrot version of the EP. After this, the album started to get some online attention. At this point, the album was only known in its bit-rotten form. The clean version of the album was even considered as lost media. Many fans of the Mysterious Find wished to hear the full clean version, so fans created the Panchiko Discord in search of the clean version of the Mysterious EP in 2019. In early 2020, a member of the now official Panchiko server discovered a postal code on the price tag of the original disc, which then this user used to track down the location of where it was originally purchased. And on January 21st, 2020, another member of the Discord was able to make contact with the lead singer, Owain, after searching for Owains who lived near the same postal code on the price tag of the disc. Andy and Sean were contacted not too long after this. Sadly, none of the members still had a physical copy of the EP. They began to search to see if family or friends still had a copy of the EP. Finally, on February 16th, 2020, the full bitrot-free version of the EP was released. The EP also included 3 unreleased songs off of the Kicking Cars EP. After this re-release, the band started to get even more fans and more reviews. This time around, they were mostly positive. In May 2020, the band released their first single in over 20 years, that being the song Robots Reprise, which is a re-recorded version of the song Laputa. Shortly after this, a second single entitled Machine Gun Drum was released. Along with those releases, the band has released a demo album entitled Ferric Oxide Demos 1997 to 2001 in July of 2020. This is what is said about the release on Panchiko's Bandcamp. 18 tracks of demo strangeness, a collection of early work, demos, and unfinished songs, more of a compilation of rarities and works in progress. an insight into where the band came from and where it may have gone. Recorded on 4-track tape machines and primitive digital recorders. What we lacked in experience, we made up for in determination. Side A, tracks 1 through 4, recorded by the full band in basements and bedrooms, and represent the band's early songs, taking major influence from the 90s indie music scene in the UK. Tracks 5 through 9 recorded and played on what was to hand at the time, possibly while playing a JRPG on a PS1. I would write songs and demo them first so the rest of the band could fix them up later. Side B, tracks 10 through 18 are more of a beat tape, taking influence from electronic, trip-hop, hip-hop, and post-rock music from all over the place. Much of the work here was not intended to release and did not reach the production phase. Stick around for Rocking with Keith, it's worth it. In October of 2020, the band released a remastered version of Deathmetal entitled Deluxe Metal. The new remaster album includes remasters of the tracks off of Deathmetal and Kicking Cars. The album also included demo versions of all the songs off of Kicking Cars. Near the end of 2020, the band released a remix tape with multiple remixes of their song Deathmetal. The artists on the tape include CJ Mira, Tong, Identity Clank, and a member of Panchiko's own remixes. The tape also had a live version of Deathmetal. Also, quick little fact, when this was released and you bought it, the RAR file included had an image file that when it was changed to a RAR file would reveal all the stems for the live version of the song. So yeah, that's kind of cool. At the start of 2021, the band released a previously unreleased song with a remaster from the Ferric Oxide demos. The single in question is titled The Death Of. I'll admit, when seeing this on streaming platforms, it kind of scared the shit out of me, thinking like the band was over for good. But nonetheless, it was just another amazing song entitled Infinite Pieces. Just recently, at the start of last month, the band released live versions of some of their songs in an album called Live Metal. The songs included were a 90s anime version of Stabilizers for Big Boys, live versions of Deathmetal, Untitled Acoustic Song, and Laputa. There is also an instrumental for the 90s anime version of Stabilizers for Big Boys. The band currently has 4.75 thousand subs on YouTube and 2 million streams on Spotify for the song Deathmetal alone as of this recording. The band hasn't put out any new updates as of June 22nd, 2021, but I am hoping, and the fans hope, there is something new brewing for our ears to hear very soon.
There's a album called Panchiko. It is irrelevant.
I bet you thought it was gonna be all sunshine and rainbows, huh? Gonna be like we got reunited with this amazing band and we ran off into the sunset? No. Well, I guess the controversy isn't that bad, but it is still worth talking about. After the re-release of Deathmetal, many people online questioned if this album was even made 20 years ago, and many speculated that this album was a successful advertising campaign to promote the album. The band has debunked this multiple times in the official Discord, but people still remain skeptical. This got even worse after the release of Robot's Reprise, which was their first song in years.
Pretty crazy story, huh? Band makes music, it doesn't get recognized until 16 years later. The story is wild, but what has been the impact on the internet since the discovery of this gem? If I had to say myself, the impact was massive. A full 4 years search just to find who made this record? If people even stayed afterwards to see what else they had in store? They have a die-hard fan base, which is quite easy to see since they have an official Discord which also has over 1,000 members. Crazy to see some random 2000 shoegaze lo-fi indie band that almost didn't make it have a fan base like this, but why are they so loved? I don't know for anyone else, but I can say my reasoning. They're just unique. I've never heard a band like these guys. Well, yes. There is bands that sound like them, but Panchiko is Panchiko. They're irreplaceable. The entire story and mystery of their existence, it just keeps drawing me in with every listen. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I've been there since day one, always listened to them or some bullshit like that. But I will say, I started listening to them in early 2020 during the rise in popularity after the re-release of Deathmetal, and I haven't put them down since. They're easily in my top 5 favorite bands, and for sure will stay there for years to come. Like, fuck. I even, I covered Stabilizers for Big Boys for my fucking music class this year. Like, I can sure say these guys are at least one of my favorite bands of all time, and they're going to stay that way for a very long time. Well, everyone, that was the mysterious story of Panchiko. These guys, like I said earlier, are one of the best bands I've ever listened to. They're just, I don't know how to describe it. Their entire sound is just so encapsulating that I can't put it down. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon to get every notification. I'm gonna try and post every other Saturday just to make it easy on myself and all other shit, and try to produce good content and not just kind of shit post. But I hope you guys really enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys all later.